What's up, guys? Brigham Wiedrich from Nerdy in Many Ways, and guess what? Today is the 80th anniversary of the character known as Batman, the guy I'm a huge fan of. Again, you've seen my poster back here, you've seen my Batman calendar that I'm designing, which is almost finished, by the way. And today, I'll be joined by my younger brother Brigham, who's in charge of Brig's Comics. Check out his channel if you'd like. And we'll be talking about our top 8 live-action Batman films. Alright, I am joined by Brigham. Welcome to the show, Brigham.
Oh, thanks.
And you know what day it is today, right?
Yeah, Batman's 80th anniversary.
Woo!
Bang, bang, bang!
Easily one of the top 10 comic book characters of all time.
Yes, by far. I mean, probably like the top 10, top 5.
Of everybody's list.
1.
At least for me, anyway. And again, like I said before, we're going to be talking about our top 8 live-action Batman movies. And Brigham, you want to start things off with your list?
8th place, probably already guessed it, Batman and Robin.
If that's not last on any of your lists, there's something wrong with you.
One of the worst movies ever made. Like, it just, not really the worst, but it's terrible. It's so bad. Mr. Freeze sucks.
Yeah, it's so fortunate that a great actor like George Clooney was in such a mess that Batman and Robin was. And I mean, we don't even have to mention the bat nipples. I mean, those things are just atrocious.
But they tried to explain it with, like, the Greek statues and everything. They tried to make it, like...
Which would be a cool concept, but, again, pretty
Well,
good.
I don't understand, like, was Batman ever, like, talked about Greek people? Is it just that, if he ever talked about Greek people, if he were, like, thought about, if he was ever, like, deprived from actual Roman culture, or Greek culture, that makes sense, but he isn't.
Right. Anyway, your next one.
So 7th, I'm going to put Batman Forever.
Okay.
It's not a bad movie. I'm not a big fan of all, like, the colorful, like, Jim Carrey's outfit, Riddler. You know what I mean? The green suit.
And Two-Face is a little strange. I mean, they had Tommy Lee Jones in there, which would have been really cool if they didn't make him so dang weird.
Yeah, he was a good actor for the part, and I would much rather had Tim Burton direct it. Do you ever hear, like, the Tim Burton idea about it?
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
It would have been fantastic. Like, I love Tim Burton's type of feel of the movies. It didn't match the rest of the movies. It just felt really out of place.
Right. And then, so number 6 for you.
Number 6, Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not a big fan. Batman's not a realistic character. He never was. He's somewhat realistic, but so much about him that isn't realistic. He's a guy who dresses up as a bat. Who goes into Gotham, that goes around fighting a clown, fighting a giant crocodile, fighting Ra's al Ghul, who's pretty much like a sorcerer wizard guy.
So you're saying that they realized it, made it way too realistic.
Yes.
Okay.
And they didn't do Bane justice. No one can seem to do Bane justice. The past 2 movies have Bane just isn't good.
Batman and Robin, and then...
Yeah, the only people who really liked Dark Knight Rises were people who were fans of the Dark Knight trilogy and didn't know anything else about Batman.
Very true. Speaking of which, let's go to 5.
5, Batman Returns. Good movie. I liked Michael Keaton. I like Michael Keaton's Batman. Penguin was very creepy. It got the Tim Burton feel. It matched the first Batman movie a lot. And I really enjoyed that part of it, so...
There you go.
We're gonna stick for that.
Number 4.
Batman Begins, probably. Batman Begins and Dark Knight are really close for me, because I really like Batman Begins. Very fun movie. I liked his costume way more in Batman Begins than I like his outfit more than in any of the Dark Knight movies. I thought that was... They did Gotham actually justice somewhat out of all the 3, because the other ones just felt like New York. But, first I'll have to say about Batman Begins.
Alright, number 3.
Dark Knight. I feel like if the Dark Knight didn't have the Joker, or with Heath Ledger as the Joker, it'd be a lot lower on my list. It's a great movie, great everything, but...
No one can beat what Heath Ledger did in that movie.
No. Well, kind of. Heath Ledger's my second favorite Joker.
And bring on the haters with that comment. There you go.
Okay, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but I think Heath Ledger, the reason everyone loved him so much, he wouldn't have been as appreciated if he didn't die before the film came out.
Which is kind of true, but you gotta admit, he was a very good Joker.
He was a very good Joker, but he wasn't... He took his own take on the Joker, which is very, very great. I love people taking their own take on characters. But if I would say who played the Joker the best, the Joker as himself, not taking their own... Like, I'd give it to Jack Nicholson.
Okay, fair enough. And with that, number 2.
Batman vs. Superman.
Alright.
It's a great movie. You'll talk about that more later.
Oh yeah, definitely will.
He's a really big fan.
Love that movie.
But, go to number 1, Batman, 1989. Love that movie. I watched it last night, actually. It was very good. I really enjoyed the Joker, like I said a second ago. Batman 1989 wasn't really a Batman movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch, it's more of a Joker movie. It's a Joker origin story the entire time, which I thought was fun because they added a little bit of mystery to Batman, which Batman's always supposed to be mysterious. It's a beautiful movie. It's beautiful to watch, and the thing that maybe probably puts on the top of this list, my favorite thing about that movie is the soundtrack.
The soundtrack is really good. It's the iconic theme song for Batman.
Batman's never really had a theme before, and they brought it up, and it's actually kind of cool because Batman 1989 came out 50 years after Batman originally.
That is really cool.
Kind of interesting, but if it wasn't for Batman 1989, there wouldn't have been the Batman animated series, and there wouldn't have been Mark Hamill would never been the Joker.
That's true.
Very cool points that came from Batman 1989. It influenced a lot of stuff.
And Kevin Conroy would never be known as Batman, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Michael Keaton isn't the best Bruce Wayne.
I'm Batman.
He isn't the best Batman, but it's just a very iconic movie, and I'm an 80s guy.
Yeah.
For comics, 1980 stuff.
Very nostalgic, for sure.
Yeah, but that's my list. What about you?
So number 8, I have the same thing as you, Batman and Robin. For all the reasons that we mentioned, just a lot of things went wrong, from the ice puns.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Bat nipples. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. And then number 7 would be Batman Forever. Although it has Val Kilmer, I love Val Kilmer, especially in Top Gun. He does a really good job there, but again, like you said, it was just a little much, a little hard on the eyes, I guess you could say that. And number 6, I would have to say, I'd say Batman Returns.
Really? Yeah.
Again, it is really fun, but the Penguin just turns it off way much for me.
Really? He was a little too extreme, I admit that.
It was completely different from what the character actually is. They literally went the whole penguin direction, which is weird. I mean, exploding penguins. And then number 5, I would say Dark Knight Rises. Because, again, that trilogy's really good. I mean, Christopher Nolan did a great job making it a realistic type of Gotham. But, again, Bane was kind of a miss for me, although I love Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's a great actor, and the voice is iconic, to say the least. I mean, you hear people talking like Bane all the time. I mean, it's iconic, but it just didn't quite reach up there for me. And then number 4, I would have to say Batman Begins.
Begins?
Because I do like it. It went very well with some origins of Batman and did a great job. And it was interesting how they took the Ra's al Ghul direction.
I enjoyed that. I love that.
It was cool how they explored that a little bit, although they didn't make it as mystic as they should have.
Ra's al Ghul is so cool. Have you ever played the Arkham games? He's so freaking cool in those games.
He's awesome. He's one of the coolest villains out there, but once you take away his whole immortality thing, he just becomes some random ninja. Which, again, I love Liam Neeson, and he did a great job at that. But it was an interesting take on the character that I wasn't extremely fond of.
I'll tell you one thing. If they just combine the Tim Burton movies with The Dark Knight, it'd be one of the perfect Batman.
Oh, absolutely, without a question.
Because they went a little too far. They went way too far, actually, with Tim Burton Batman movies. And they went a little too realistic with the Christopher Nolan stuff.
Right.
So.
And so with that, number 3 for me is The Batman with Michael Keaton.
I'm Batman.
It's a really good movie. I love it a lot for nostalgic reasons. But that isn't enough for me to put it in my top 2. I do still love it. I love Michael Keaton. I love the Joker in that. It's a very interesting take on the Joker. The final scene where the Joker is dead on the ground and he's laughing. Very iconic. Very well done. And so that leaves number 2 as The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is a fantastic film.
Very good.
But I do have gripes with this. Christian Bale's movies, Batman movies, were fantastic. Villains were great. Ra's al Ghul, Joker with Heath Ledger, and then, well, Bane. Again, we talked about our gripes with Bane a little bit. But there's the voice, the Batman voice, the one that gives you throat cancer when you try to impersonate it.
Where were the other drugs going?
And then there's the concept that Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne was constantly looking for a way to get out of the Batman gig, which is not who Batman is. The Batman is who Bruce Wayne is. Like, the night that Bruce Wayne's parents were killed, Bruce Wayne technically died too. He became the Batman. That's who he is. Bruce Wayne is just simply a face that he puts on. And so the fact that Bruce Wayne was constantly trying to find his way out bothered me quite a bit.
I think would have made the Dark Knight series so much better. I've been saying this for a long time, but I always thought that instead of Bane as the main villain of the third one, like another problem I had with Christian Bale's Batman is he didn't really do detective stuff.
Exactly.
And if they would have had the Riddler in The Dark Knight Rises instead of Bane, it would have been so much better because they would have had a lot of fight scenes. They just made it like kind of like a brain game. It'd have been, with realistic take, that is the best character to go with in a Batman movie.
It absolutely is. Absolutely is. And just kind of going off your whole thing about him not being a detective, the one time that we have seen detective mode in a Batman movie was in The Dark Knight. And it's useless. He sees where the villains are, but then all of a sudden, he just gets the crap beat out of him because he's using his detective vision. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not detective mode for me. I mean, I don't know, it just bothered me so much that he was getting the crap beat out of him while using detective mode. That's just not Batman.
Also, the Bane scene, like, what the crap? He isn't a good fighter. He gets the crap beat out of him every movie.
Yeah, I mean, he gets injured and he has, like, miraculous knee braces and everything.
So
Again,
small.
love Christian Bale, great actor. I loved him in Reign of Fire, one of the films with Matthew McConaughey. But I just had a problem with where they went with Bruce Wayne and Batman.
He's too small, too.
He is too small, and that's why it's at number 2 for me. Still a great film, one of the greatest films of all time,
Heath
especially
Ledger.
comic book movies. Heath Ledger did a great job. I mean, there's only so much you can say about Heath Ledger. But that leaves Batman v Superman at the top of my list. Now, the Ultimate Edition, of course, the theatrical version, I can understand why people would have gripes with it because it's confusing. Warner Brothers really screwed the pooch on that one, to be completely fair. Yeah, but Zack Snyder's vision of Batman v Superman, every time I watch it, although it's long, it's 3 hours long, it immerses you into the DC universe. It makes you feel like you're in a graphic novel. Like, honestly, I watch it, and like even just the scene of the cops watching the Gotham City University versus Metropolis.
It did feel like
scene.
an opening of a comic.
Right, exactly. I mean, you felt like you were in the world. It exposed you to everything else that was available to it, and it just opened up the world so much.
That's something that I think DC does much better than Marvel, is my huge problem with Infinity War. I love Infinity War, I love all those Marvel movies, but they don't show the world.
Right.
It doesn't feel like a world building. It feels more it's a character building, but they don't show the world's reaction.
It
Like,
feels like those characters in our world, which can be cool.
yeah,
But there's an entire universe of that to be explored. These new places, which they've done better with the space movies like Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy 1 and 2, and a little bit of Captain Marvel.
that's why those Guardians of the Galaxies are my favorite.
Right, those are fantastic. And people talk about Ben Affleck as Batman, and they also talk about Lex Luthor, that movie. And I will make a video about this soon, talking about all my reasons why I love this movie so much. But Ben Affleck's Batman, I mean, Batfleck forever, because he did so dang good. I mean, you feel how tortured Bruce Wayne is, the way that Ben Affleck acts, and you feel the bruteness of him. And he loves being Batman. He's been doing it for 20 years, and he has no signs of slowing down. He still does. He still has that fire in him, that hatred for crime, basically. And Lex Luthor, people misunderstood that it's an origin story for Lex Luthor.
I feel like he was a little, like, people confused him with the Riddler, and I see why. He is very similar to the Riddler.
In that one, yeah. But it was also, the thing I love the most about Batman v Superman is that every time I watch it, I realize just how much comic book research Zack Snyder did for it. There's comic book, or things straight from comic books all over the place, whether it be little things you see in the background, or characters mentioned, or
Batman
lines
versus
said.
Superman fight scene where they literally take lines out of the graphic novel.
Of The Dark Knight Returns, exactly. Even the way the armor is destroyed, especially the chest piece and everything like that. And the Martha scene is not what you think. Batman did not spare Superman because their moms have the same name. That is not the reason.
You can say it. But
Right. I mean, Bruce Wayne spared Superman because when Superman was about to die, about to get a freaking kryptonite spear in his face, he was begging for his mother's life. Which he didn't realize that until, of course, when Lois Lane tells him that it's his mother's name, Batman realizes, holy crap, this guy lived a life here. This guy he's humanized in Batman's idea now.
What I always thought was cool is how I don't know why this came to mind. But, like, Batman kind of realizes that Superman's more human than him.
Exactly, and he mentions that in the Justice League movie, which #release a Snyder Cut. But yeah, it's a totally misunderstood scene where it's really emotional, really deep. In fact, when I showed it to our older brother Asher, who hadn't seen the whole extended edition, I explained things everywhere. He's like, holy crap, that's a lot deeper than I thought it was. And so it was a movie made for the fans of the comics who would understand them and would appreciate the things taken from those comics and graphic novels into the movie. And so that's our top 8 for the live action movies of Batman's history on the 80th birthday of Batman. Long live Batman. Woo! Long live Bruce Wayne. And so thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And again, this was Brigham Wiedrich with us. Check him out at Brig's Comics, and that's an apostrophe before the S.
You can actually search it up now. I fixed it, so if you search Brig's Comics without the apostrophe, you'll still find me.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.